Hi, Mike.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, Oksana.
How is it going?
All right. So, what's up?
Oh, not much. We're waiting for Yuki. Do you know her?
Sure. We have a couple of classes together.
Oh, here she comes now. Hey, Yuki.
Hi, guys. Mike, will you join us for lunch?
Lunch? Of course I'll join.
Cool. Did you study for the test last night?
Yep. I studied for 3 hours.
Which class are you talking about?
Calculus.
Calculus? That's a hard class.
Tell me about it.
Let's hear the conversation again one more time slowly.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, Oksana.
How is it going?
All right. So, what's up?
Oh, not much. We're waiting for Yuki. Do you know her?
Sure. We have a couple of classes together.
Oh, here she comes now. Hey, Yuki.
Hi, guys. Mike, will you join us for lunch?
Lunch? Of course I'll join.
Cool. Did you study for the test last night?
Yep. I studied for 3 hours.
Which class are you talking about?
Calculus.
Calculus? That's a hard class.
Tell me about it.
So, Daniel, did you have any hard classes in college?
Yep. The hardest class I remember taking was abstract math.
Abstract math? What's that?
I have no idea. I dropped it after a couple of weeks. How about you, Jessie? Any real hard classes?
Well, I've mentioned before that my major was linguistics, and there are quite a few hard linguistics classes I had to take.
I bet, yeah. Well, in this lesson, we're going to take a look at a very important part of grammar called aspect. The simple aspect, for example, was used a few times in today's conversation. Jessie, did you notice any examples of the simple aspect?
Let's see. I remember Vicky asked, do you know her? And then Mike said, I studied for 3 hours.
That's right. Do you know and studied are both examples of the simple aspect. In the grammar focus for this lesson, we will give a different explanation that most students hear in traditional grammar classes.
Great, I can't wait. But first, let's take a look at the vocabulary for this lesson. The first one is,
What's up?
how are you doing? Or, how are you?
What's up? What's up?
The next one is,
Couple.
two people or two things. Few.
Couple. Couple.
Next is,
Guys.
two or more men, two or more people.
Guys. Guys.
Next we have,
Join.
to go somewhere in order to be with a person or group of people.
Join. Join.
Next is,
Study.
to spend time and attention to learn something.
Study. Study.
Next we have,
Test.
a set of questions or problems designed to measure someone's skill or knowledge.
Test. Test.
Next is,
Class.
series of meetings at school for a topic of study, course of study.
Class. Class.
Next is,
Calculus.
advanced type of mathematics.
Calculus. Calculus.
Next is,
Hard.
difficult, not easy.
Hard. Hard.
And lastly we have,
Tell me about it.
a phrase used to say that you understand what someone is talking about because you have had a similar experience.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Let's have a closer look at the usage for some of the words and phrases from this lesson.
The first word we'll look at is guys. Guy in the singular, that is, when you are talking about one person, usually refers to a man or a boy, as in, the guy by the door is my roommate. However, when you use the plural, as in guys, You can use this to talk about men or women or a combination of them.
The next phrase we'll look at is tell me about it. As we heard in the definitions, it is a phrase used to say that you understand what someone is talking about because you have had a similar experience, especially if it was a difficult experience. It is an idiom, so it's not to be taken literally. We are not actually asking someone to tell us the story again, right?
Yeah, they just told us. When you really feel like you understand the feeling of someone's pain, try this expression. Here's an example.
Daniel, I'm having a lot of trouble with my computer.
Tell me about it. I had to take mine to the repair shop.
Remember that this idiom is casual, so be careful about using it in formal situations.
Right. But don't be shy about using it in casual situations. It sounds pretty friendly.
All right, let's move on to the grammar point.
The focus of this lesson is a simple aspect of verbs.
For example, in the dialogue we heard, that's a hard class.
Warning, today's grammar point is a little bit long and challenging.
Uh-oh.
But it's also very useful.
Well, then it'll be worth it.
That's right. Now, traditional grammar textbooks teach that there are 12 verb tenses in English. Jessie, can you name the 12?
Let me see. I think so. There's simple present, simple past, simple future, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, present progressive, which is also called continuous, past progressive, future progressive, and present perfect progressive, past perfect progressive, and future perfect progressive.
Wow, I'm impressed.
That's a lot. Thank you. As I mentioned, the progressive is also sometimes called continuous because the action continues.
Right. We will look at each of the 12 over time. However, we are going to try a different way than traditional textbooks. I believe with our way, you will be able to understand why we use each form and not just memorize rules for each of the 12.
Because no one likes just memorizing rules.
Tell me about it. Memorizing vocabulary can be fun, but memorizing rules can be a bit boring. Also, when we start with the 12, you will soon notice that there are so many exceptions to the rules. It will seem like the rules are broken all the time. Listen with us, and we will show you a better way.
Sounds good. Well, if we're not focusing on tenses first, what are we going to look at in this lesson?
In this lesson, our focus is on the simple aspect. We will look at its meaning and also how it combines with the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. In future lessons, we will study more deeply the meaning of each tense.
I see.
Because all of you are probably already familiar with each one, for now, let's just say that the present tense is about now, the past tense is about before now, and the future tense is about after now.
For example, today is present tense, yesterday is past tense, and tomorrow is future tense.
That example is very useful. So the main idea of the simple aspect is that it is used for events that we think of as a complete unit. We are talking about the event like there is no change.
But that doesn't mean that the event can't change, though, right?
That's right. The event could change, but that's not how we are talking about it. How about an example?
Sure. When I say I live in Los Angeles, there's no suggestion that I will move soon. The event, I live in Los Angeles, is an unchanging event.
Good example. Let's consider how the simple aspect is different from the progressive aspect. How could you give the same information using the progressive form?
Using the progressive, I would say, I am living in Los Angeles.
You are talking about the same event, but in the second sentence, it sounds like the event may change.
Yeah, kind of like I'm living in Los Angeles now, but I'm planning to move to New York soon.
Okay, good. Now, let's combine the simple aspect with the verb tenses and see how they work out. As we said before, the present tense is used to talk about now. When combined with the simple aspect, it can be used to talk about habits. So, can we have an example?
Sure. For example, I ride the train to school every day. It's a habit because it's something I normally do.
Exactly. The simple present can also be used to talk about truths that don't change. So do you have another example?
Yes. It's cold in January in New York. This is something that is generally true and doesn't change.
That's right. Now, was there an example in the dialogue?
Yes. Vicky said, "That's a hard class," which is another example of a truth that doesn't change.
Calculus never stops being hard.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So another way the simple present can be used is to talk about states or conditions. What's an example of this usage?
For example, in the dialogue, Vicky said, "Do you know her?" which is a question about a state, the state of knowing Yuki.
Also, believe it or not, the simple present can be used to talk about future events, as in, I have a meeting tomorrow.
Right, and it can also be used to talk about past events in a story, such as, the detective walks into the room and finds a murder weapon.
Sounds like an interesting story.
Doesn't it?
As you can see, the present tense can be used to talk about future and past events also.
So, what about the past tense?
Let's take a look. For now, we will say that the past tense is used to talk about events that happened before now.
Okay, for example, when we talk about yesterday, we use the past tense.
That's right. And we said earlier that the simple aspect is used to talk about an event as a complete unit. So, if an event is before now and also complete, we use the simple past form of the verb. How was the simple past used in the dialogue?
Well, in the dialogue, Mike said, "I studied for 3 hours." He was talking about last night, so this means that his studying was complete, or that it finished last night. How does the simple aspect work with the future tense?
Well, again, as we said earlier, for now we will say the future tense is used to talk about events that have not happened yet or may happen after now.
Right, so when we talk about tomorrow or next year, we use the future tense.
That's right. If the future is used with the simple aspect, we are talking about an event in a complete sense that may happen after now. What example do we have from the dialogue?
In the dialogue, when Yuki asks Mike if he will join them for lunch, he says, "Of course I'll join."
That's right. That was a lot of information.
Yes, it was.
But we think that if you master the aspect and tense system, your grammar knowledge will multiply.
Multiply. Well, that sounds great. Also, we will review the simple aspect when we talk about each verb tense in the future lessons.
Exactly. In future lessons, we will look at the present tense, past tense, and future tense more carefully.
Okay, well, see you next time.
Later.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, Oksana.
How is it going?
All right. So, what's up?
Oh, not much. We're waiting for Yuki. Do you know her?
Sure. We have a couple of classes together.
Oh, here she comes now. Hey, Yuki.
Hi, guys. Mike, will you join us for lunch?
Lunch? Of course I'll join.
Cool. Did you study for the test last night?
Yep. I studied for 3 hours.
Which class are you talking about?
Calculus.
Calculus? That's a hard class.
Tell me about it.